Today we're looking at notes M-3, trig functions with a calculator. So some tips to remember: if you're thinking cosine of theta and sine of theta, think alpha order to help you remember. Cosine is with your x, deals with x for the unit circle, and sine deals with y for the unit circle. Remember that tangent of theta, think about slope, where tangent of theta will be your y value over your x value in the unit circle. And think about, if you haven't already, trig functions and their reciprocals have one co per pair. So you don't have to write this down, but I just want you to look at this. So sine's reciprocal is cosecant, cosine's reciprocal is secant, and tangent's reciprocal is cotangent. Notice there's one co per pair. I imagine that tangent and cotangent are easy to memorize as reciprocals or inverses, but to remember that sine goes with cosecant, you just have one co per pair, and so therefore cosine must go with secant because you can only have one co per pair. Okay, so you don't have to write that down, but it might be kind of helpful for you now that you see that. So in part one, it's very similar. We're actually not getting to the calculator portion until part two. Part one is just like M-2, but with greater than one revolution on the unit circle. So if I ask you to find sine of 5 pi, why is it 0? Well, look over here at our unit circle. We're talking 5 pi radians. So 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, not quite 6 pi, but 5 pi. So this point here. Okay, that coordinate on the unit circle is -1, 0. Sine deals with y, therefore sine of 5 pi equals 0. Okay, look at number 2. On number 2, cosine of 10 pi over 3. How did I get -1/2? Well, I've cut the horizontal piece of the unit circle, but not the vertical, because again, I'm dealing with 10 pi over 3. So I want to think about thirds of a whole. So this is our whole pi, so I've cut this into thirds on the top and on the bottom. So here, if I start at 0, this is 1 pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3, 5 pi over 3, 6 pi over 3, 7 pi over 3, 8 pi over 3, 9 pi over 3, 10 pi over 3. Remember, our pi over 3's, anything with a pi over 3 are flip-flops. So it's going to be 1/2 and square root of 3 over 2, and both of these, the x and y values, are negative because of the quadrant that we're talking here in quadrant 3. So -1/2 comma negative square root of 3 pi over 2. So since cosine deals with x in the unit circle, we're talking -1/2. So for tangent of -15 pi over 2, hey, we're talking negative. So we go down from our starting point here at 0. So notice I'm talking halves only, pi over 2 only, so this would be negative pi over 2, 1 pi over 2, -2 pi over 2, -3 pi over 2, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10, -11, -12, -13, -14, -15 pi over 2. So that would put me right here. That is the coordinate 0, 1 on the unit circle. If I'm talking tangent, I'm talking y over x, so 1 over 0. Since we have 0 in the denominator, that's undefined. Okay, so part 2 is where we get to the calculator portion. Using the calculator, the biggest thing I need you to watch out of is checking the mode in the calculator. Set it according to how the angle is named. So you know the lack of the degree sign means radian. So if I'm asking you to find sine of pi over 4, I'm talking radian, angle measure in radian. So you need to check your calculator. So once you power it on, go to the mode, which is right here. Check to make sure it is in radian mode, and it is. Notice the radian is darkened, so you don't need to do anything. So second quit out of there, and you're going to find the sine of pi over 4. So find pi, divide it by 4, close those parentheses, and you get 0.707 since we're rounding to the thousandths. So 0.707. Okay, So then let's find tangent of negative 1.9. Again, we're in radian mode. There's no degree. So tangent of negative 1.9 radians. The calculator says it's 2.927. 2.927. Forgot my equal sign in black there. 2.927. Okay, so here, tangent of 75 degrees. I need to change to degree mode. So go to the mode, highlight the degree, make sure it's black on the degree now and not on the radian. Second quit to get out of that. So tangent of 75, close your parentheses, and you get 3.732. 3.732. Okay, and then cosecant of 1.3. So no degree sign, so that means I need to go back to radians. Second quit. Cosecant. So remember that cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So that's like 1 over sine of 1.3. Notice, don't change the angle. The angle stays the same. So the cosecant of 1.3 is equivalent to 1 over the sine of 1.3. So that's how we're going to input this in the calculator. So let me just check one more time. I am in radian mode. Okay, so I would have, I'm going to do alpha y equals, I'm going to do 1 over the sine of 1.3. Close it off. Utilize that alpha y equals key. And then you will get 1.038. You're going to round up. 1.038. Okay, a big thing I want you to understand here also is that your answers, the answers that you're getting, just like above, they are values, not angles. Angles are what's given, okay, either in radian or degree. These are values, okay, so just be aware of that. All right, so I have 2 more examples for you, 5 and 6. So cotangent of 5.5. So think about cotangent. So we're going to convert this to 1 over tangent of 5.5. So again, the lack of degree indicates that we're talking radians. I'm already in radian mode. So alpha y equals 1 over tangent of 5.5. Close those parentheses. And I get negative 1.004. Okay. Last here, secant of negative 90. So that's going to be 1 over cosine of negative 90 degrees. Notice I carried the degree symbol with me. Okay, so again, here I do need to go into degree mode. Hit enter. Make sure you don't forget to hit enter. And then alpha y equals again 1 over cosine of negative 90. I'm going to close it off. And it tells me error, divide by 0. Okay, can't divide by 0. So that means this is undefined. Undefined.